Welcome to this edition of News Today, a series where we briefly discuss and analyze the important news of the day. First, let's go through the main headlines. Jaish-e-Mohammed and People's Anti-Fascist Front claimed responsibility for Poonch terror ambush along the line of control. Bihar police busted an illegal sand mining, arresting 20 and seizing 40 boats in major crackdown. China has imposed a ban on the export of rare earth element processing technologies. The Ministry of Power has announced major reforms in the carbon credits trading scheme. The Office of the Chief Economic Advisor is calling for the significant reforms in the sovereign credit rating process. National level program on Anganwadi-Cum-Crèche was held. Moving on to the next news, Jaish-e-Mohammed and People's Anti-Fascist Front claimed responsibility for Poonch terror ambush along the line of control. Talking about the People's Anti-Fascist Front, which emerged in 2019 as a proxy outfit of Jaish-e-Mohammed, a proscribed terrorist organization listed under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act (UAPA) and also under United Nations list of global terrorists. The People's Anti-Fascist Front was banned by the Ministry of Home Affairs under the UAPA. Previously, the Ministry of Home Affairs banned the Resistance Front, an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba. Before proceeding, first let's understand about the line of control or LOC. LOC is a military control line between Indian and Pakistani controlled parts of the former princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. LOC is not a legally recognized international boundary but serves as the de facto border. It was established as part of the Shimla Agreement at the end of the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. Due to high engagements, LOC is exposed to several security threats. The exfiltration and infiltrations by insurgents through the LOC has been a recurring challenge. The LOC is also aided by overground workers who are reportedly sympathetic to militants and provide them logistical support in terms of food and shelter. The trafficking of narcotics and drugs is also an important issue. The primary source of trafficked drug is the Golden Crescent of Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Ceasefire violations, trafficking of fake Indian currency notes, and smuggling of arms, ammunition and contraband are other security threats being posed in the LOC. Now let's understand steps taken to combat terrorism along LOC. Madhukar Gupta committee report suggested border outpost, floodlighting and fencing to strengthen border protection. Comprehensive integrated border management system along Indo-Pakistan border was also introduced to integrate manpower, sensors, networks, intelligence and command control to facilitate quick response to emerging situations. Indian Army along with the Border Security Force also guards the LOC. Moving to the second news, Bihar police busted an illegal sand mining, arresting 20 and seizing 40 boats in major crackdown. Illegal sand mining has been a rampant issue. Sand, considered the second most exploited natural resource globally after water, has various sources in India, including riverbeds, floodplains, lakes, reservoirs, agricultural fields, coastal marine areas, and paleo channels. The impacts of sand mining are severe, ranging from the destruction of biodiversity in aquatic and riparian habitats to coastal erosion, changes in deltaic structures, and pollution of groundwater. The mining also leads to changes in water flows, flood regulation, and marine currents, affecting the overall ecosystem. The consequences of illegal sand mining are indeed alarming, impacting our environment and ecosystem. To address this issue, measures have been taken at both the central and the state levels. Sand is classified as a minor mineral under the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulations Act 1957. The administrative control over minor minerals lies with state governments, regulated through state-specific rules. In 2016, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change issued substantial sand mining management guidelines emphasizing responsible sand mining practices. Furthermore, the Ministry of Mines introduced the Sand Mining Framework in 2018. This framework promotes alternative sources of sand such as manufactured sand and crushed rock fines and sand from the overburden of coal mines. In our next news, China has imposed a ban on the export of rare earth element processing technologies. Talking about China, which accounts for 63% of the world's rare earth mining, has also banned the export of production technology for rare earth metals and alloy materials as well as technology to prepare some rare earth magnets. If we talk about rare earth elements, they are a set of 17 metallic elements. These include 15 lanthanides plus scandium and yttrium. They are relatively plentiful in the Earth's crust, but not often found in concentrated enough clusters, making them viable to mine. Now let's understand the significance of the rare earth element. They are essential in the manufacture of smartphone chips, batteries, LCD screens, and military equipment. Expensive and difficult extraction and environmental issues such as water pollution, radioactive waste are some challenges associated with rare earth elements. Further, let's understand the steps taken by India for rare metal elements. The Ministry of Mines released a list of 33 minerals critical to the economy, including several rare earth elements. Indian Rare Earths Limited, a unit of the Department of Atomic Energy, has been tasked with producing rare earth minerals. India also became a member of the US-led Mineral Security Partnership, which aims to catalyze public and private investment in critical supply chains of minerals, including rare earth elements. Moving on to the next news, the Ministry of Power has announced major reforms in the carbon credits trading scheme. The Ministry of Power had initially notified the carbon credits trading scheme in June 2023, aiming to establish the Indian carbon market framework under the Energy Conservation Act of 2001. The carbon credits trading scheme is designed to set up a carbon credit trading market as part of country's ambitious goals to decarbonize the economy. The carbon markets are a crucial tool for putting a price on carbon emissions. They create trading systems where carbon credits or allowances can be bought and sold. A carbon credit is a kind of tradable permit that 1 ton of carbon dioxide removed, reduced, or sequestered from the atmosphere. Now let's delve into the major reforms announced by the Ministry of Power. Firstly, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency will play a pivotal role. It will develop standards and register projects under an offset mechanism. Secondly, in a significant shift, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency will validate carbon credits as opposed to just verification in the original framework. These entities voluntarily purchase carbon credit certificates, and now they can register decarbonization projects and generate carbon credits. Now let's explore the significance of these reforms. The inclusion of non-obligated entities further deepens the Indian carbon credit market, providing more opportunities for entities to actively participate in decarbonization efforts. One notable impact is that Indian entities will no longer have to rely on overseas standards agencies for the validation of their carbon credits, streamlining the certification process. Additionally, with these reforms, foreign decarbonization projects might choose India for certification, showcasing the country as an attractive destination for carbon credit validation. Moving ahead, the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor is calling for significant reforms in the sovereign credit rating process. In its recent publication, the Chief Economic Advisor has shed light on the opaque methodologies used by credit rating agencies to determine sovereign ratings. Currently, India holds an investment-grade rating from the 3 major credit rating agencies: Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch. The rating agencies employ various parameters such as growth rate, political risk, debt burden, and exchange rate regime to evaluate a sovereign creditworthiness. However, the Chief Economic Advisor has identified key issues with the existing methodology. One major concern is that the rating methods put developing countries at a disadvantage. For instance, Fitch's methodology gives greater weight to foreign ownership of banks, ignoring the developmental role played by state-run entities. Experts consulted by these agencies were also selected in a non-transparent manner. Furthermore, there's a lack of clarity on the weights assigned to each parameter. This lack of transparency is evident in the fact that India's rating has remained static at BBB negative for the past 15 years, despite the country's climb from 12th largest economy in 2008 to the 5th largest economy in 2023. The Chief Economic Advisor has also highlighted that subjective assessments often tilt in favor of advanced economies. Additionally, credit rating agencies heavily rely on World Bank's worldwide governance indicators, raising concern about the accuracy of the governance and institutional quality assessments of countries. In India, the Securities and Exchange Board of India has implemented a regulatory framework for credit rating firms under SEBI Credit Rating Agencies Regulations 1999. At present, prominent credit rating agencies operating in India include CRISIL, CARE, ICRA, Acute Ratings, Brickwork Rating, and India Rating. Moving on to the next news, the national level program on Anganwadi-Cum-Crèche was held. The Anganwadi-Cum-Crèche initiative under the Palna scheme and a part of the Samarthya subcomponent of Mission Shakti has a noble aim to address the demand for quality childcare facilities and enable women to actively participate in the workforce. The government, as part of this initiative, aims to establish 17,000 creches, out of which 5,222 have already received approval. Now let's take a closer look at the Palna scheme. This scheme operates under the Ministry for Women and Child Development and is a centrally sponsored scheme. Its objectives are multifaceted, including providing daycare facilities for children aged 6 months to 6 years of working mother, monitoring compliance with the Maternity Benefit Act of 2017 for setting up creches facilities, and promoting the nutritional, health and cognitive development of children. Its key services include early stimulation for children below 3 years and sleeping facility, preschool education for those between 3 to 6 years, and health checkups and immunizations in the line with Poonch 2.0. Now let's explore the benefits of Anganwadi-Cum-Crèche initiative. The initiative is expected to lead to the institutionalization of daycare centers, formalization of India's care economy, and a significant step towards addressing gender biases and discrimination. Importantly, it promises safety, health, and nutrition benefits for children. This initiative is a part of a broader scheme called Mission Shakti. Let's briefly touch upon Mission Shakti. Mission Shakti, with its two sub-schemes, Sambal and Samarthya, is dedicated to women's safety, security, and empowerment. Sambal focuses on safety and security, including schemes like One Stop Center, Women Healthline, and Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. On the other hand, Samarthya aims at the empowerment of women, incorporating initiatives like Ujjwala and Swadhar Greh. The personality in news for today is Taraknath Das. He was an Indian revolutionary with a global outlook. Let's go through his contributions. He was a member of Anushilan Samiti and launched organizations of Indian students and laborers on the west coast of the USA. In his quest to mobilize resources for Indian independence, he journeyed through 4 continents. He was also associated with Lala Hardayal of Gadar Party. He founded the Free Hindustan newspaper in the year 1908 and also wrote a book titled India in World Politics, inculcating the values of courage, resilience, and nationalism. As we conclude today's news, let's go through some quick updates. The National Human Rights Commission has directed the Ministry of Home Affairs and 6 states to furnish information on victims of Salwa Judum. The term Salwa Judum translates to purification hunt in the local Gondi language. It was a militia that had been deployed as part of anti-Maoist operations in Chhattisgarh. In Indo-Bangladesh shipping arrangements, shipping secretary level talks between India and Bangladesh concluded in Dhaka. As per the key decisions, easing of visa issuance, shore-level facility, and repatriation for seafarers, land routes at Radhikapur and Hodibari will extend trade and connectivity. 8th edition of Indian Ocean Naval Symposium's Conclave of Chiefs was conducted by the Royal Thai Navy at Bangkok, Thailand. Republic of Korea Navy was also welcomed as latest observer, raising the collective strength of Indian Ocean Naval Symposium to 34. The Government of India signed an agreement with the Asian Development Bank to avail $100 million loan to improve urban services and tourism facilities in Tripura. The Asian Development Bank headquarters is in Manila, Philippines. It was established in the year 1966 and has 68 members including India. Recently, the Food and Agriculture Organization released a report, Food Safety Implications from Use of Environmental Inhibitors in Agri-Food Systems. The environmental inhibitors are one of the approaches used to minimize the harmful effects of agri-food systems on the environment. Missing for 42 years, Namdafa flying squirrels resurfaces in Arunachal Pradesh. It's a nocturnal endemic to northeastern India mammal. Its status is critically endangered. It is protected under Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Camera trap for the Odisha Tiger Census spotted 35 tigers in the Simlipal Reserve. Talking about the monitoring system for tigers, intensive production and ecological status, which uses GPS, GPRS and remote sensing. Another software called Cataract, which stands as Camera Trapped Data Repository and Analysis Tool, compares these stripe patterns of tigers to count. Extremely rare polar stratospheric clouds were captured over Scotland, northern England. These clouds are also known as nacreous clouds or mother of pearl. They are formed only below -78 degrees Celsius. They trap outgoing long-wave radiation and emit back, hindering atmospheric cooling. Before we go, it's time to put your knowledge to the test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed this edition of News Today. To get the answers to today's quiz and to download the PDF of News Today, make sure to check out the links in the description below.